Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Logic Medico. Today's interesting topic is cartilages of the larynx. In a simplified manner, let us understand the cartilages of the larynx. The skeleton of the larynx is made up of two types of cartilage. The unpaired cartilages, which are present in the midline, which includes the epiglottis, the thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage. Epiglottis is a leaf-like cartilage. Thyroid cartilage is shield-like cartilage. It's shielding the vocal cord, and a ring-like cartilage is called as cricoid cartilage. These are the unpaired cartilages because they are present in the midline. Whereas the paired cartilages, they are present on either sides. These are the aryenoid cartilage, the corniculate and cuneiform. The aryenoid cartilage is like a pyramid shape. The corniculate is like a horn shape, and the cuneiform is like a wedge shape cartilage. Wedge shape cartilage is cuneiform cartilage. So these are the three unpaired cartilage, paired cartilages, aryenoid cartilage, corniculate and cuneiform cartilage. So let us see each cartilage in detail. That is about the skeleton of the larynx. So the anatomy of the larynx means the structural framework of the larynx, mainly formed by cartilages. One by one we'll see. The physiology of larynx, it's mainly a respiratory structure but helps in voice production. Starting with epiglottis. As you can see, the epiglottis is a leaf-like structure present in the anterior wall of the larynx. The upper end of this epiglottis is broad, the lower end is narrow, which is called the stalk. The upper end is present behind the hyoid bone and the posterior part of the tongue, whereas the lower end is attached to the inner surface of this cartilage, inner surface of thyroid angle. The angle formed between the two laminas of thyroid cartilage. There are two lateral borders, the right and the left lateral borders, which are attached to the aryepiglottic fold. The upper border is free. The lower border is attached to the thyroid cartilage by thyroepiglottic ligament. The two lateral borders are attached to aryenoid cartilages by aryepiglottic fold of mucous membrane. The anterior surface facing the tongue is attached to the tongue by median and a pair of lateral glossoepiglottic folds. Also, the anterior surface is attached to hyoid bone by hyoepiglottic ligament. This is in detail about epiglottis, leaf-like cartilage. Moving on to the next one, which is the thyroid cartilage or the shield-like cartilage. There are two laminas for the thyroid cartilage, the right and the left lamina. Each lamina is roughly quadrangular. It has got a superior border, inferior border, anterior border and posterior border. Kindly note, the anterior border of both the thyroid laminas, the right and left lamina, will unite in the midline, anterior midline, to form an angle called as thyroid angle. This is called the thyroid angle. So this thyroid cartilage, if I take a cut section of this, in male, the thyroid angle is 90 degree, whereas in female, the thyroid angle is almost 120 degree. This difference in the angle of the thyroid cartilage, the thyroid angle, accounts for the change in voice, where the male sound more intensity, more loudness, whereas female high pitch and high frequency will be there because of the thyroid angle. Difference in the thyroid angle, that's what I meant. Okay, so this thyroid cartilage, moving on, this thyroid cartilage further, it is attached to the following structures. So most of us are confused, what is Adam's apple? So let me explain what is Adam's apple. The anterior portion of this thyroid cartilage, both the thyroid cartilage will fuse with one another. The anterior border of both the laminas fuse with one another to form a median projection called as a laryngeal prominence or the thyroid angle. Whereas the upper portion of this thyroid cartilages will have a notch, it's called the superior thyroid notch. This is the superior thyroid notch. Lower portion, both the laminas will have a notch. It's called the inferior thyroid notch, the inferior borders. The upper end of this thyroid cartilage will have a projection. This is called superior cornu, which goes as far as the greater cornu of the hyoid bone, and the lower part will have a projection. It's called the inferior cornu. It unites with the cricoid cartilage to form the cricothyroid joint. So this thyroid cartilage has got so many attachment on the inner aspect. So the inner aspect of this thyroid cartilage, what happens? There are many attachments. Just one second. This is the thyroid cartilage. When you see it from behind, inside there is an attachment of hyoepiglottic ligament, thyroepiglottic ligament. One ligament will be there here. Then thyroepiglotticus muscle will be there. Muscle. Brown color I will take. The muscle will be there. Thyroepiglottic ligament. Then the attachment of vestibular folds and the vocal folds will be there. So all these are there on the inner surface of the thyroid angle. I repeat, median thyroepiglottic ligament, thyroepiglotticus muscle on each side, then vestibular fold and vocal folds attachment will be there. In addition, the one muscle will be there on the inside of this thyroid cartilage. It's called the ocalis muscle, also called the thyroarytenoides. So this is in detail about the thyroid cartilage. Moving on to the next cartilage, which is the cricoid cartilage. The meaning of cricoid is ring-like. Since it appears like a ring with some diamond or some stone like this, the anterior portion of this is narrow and it's called the arch of the cricoid cartilage. The posterior portion is broad and it is called the lamina of cricoid cartilage. The arch of cricoid cartilage is connected to the thyroid cartilage, this thyroid cartilage, by a membrane. That membrane is called as cricothyroid membrane. Cricothyroid membrane. The posterior broad portion, which is called the lamina, it gains attachment to one cartilage which is pyramidal shape, that is called as aryenoid cartilage. The lower portion of the cricoid cartilage will give attachment to cricotracheal membrane. Cricotracheal membrane, the lower portion of the arch. So this lamina of cricoid cartilage gives importance to one muscle, posterior cricoarytenoid muscle, which is called the safety muscle of the larynx. That is one importance of cricoid cartilage. As already mentioned, we have one joint with cricoid and thyroid cartilage. It's called the cricothyroid joint. And also one muscle will be there between cricoid and thyroid. It's called the cricothyroid muscle. It's a tensor of the vocal cord. It pulls the thyroid cartilage forward. We can see in the separate videos on the muscle. For time being, I limit myself to the cartilage. Cricothyroid muscle will be there. Cricothyroid membrane is there from the anterior arch of the cricoid cartilage. By the posterior lamina, there is arytenoid cartilage is sitting over there, forming cricoarytenoid joint. Also, one membrane will be there on the interior of the larynx, beginning from the cricoid cartilage going upwards. This membrane is called as cricovocal membrane. Crico, like this on both sides. The upper margin of the cricovocal membrane forms the vocal ligament, which is the skeleton of the vocal cord. So this is in detail about cricoid cartilage, the ring-shaped cartilage. Moving on to the next cartilage, the paired cartilages, which is the arytenoid cartilage. They are pyramid-shaped cartilage, pyramid-like cartilage, sitting on the upper border of the lamina of cricoid cartilage. It has got an apex pointing upwards and a base sitting on the cricoid cartilage, and it has got a process directed forward. It's called the vocal process, and a projection sidewards or lateralwards. It's called the muscular process. As the name suggests, vocal process gives attachment to vocal cord, which is present on the inner surface of thyroid cartilage like this. It gives attachment to vocal cord, whereas muscular process gives attachment to the muscles of the larynx. So many muscles of the larynx will come over there. There are surfaces. The medial surface faces one another. That is, two arytenoid cartilage will be there, na? So the medial surface of one arytenoid faces the medial surface of the other arytenoid. As simple as that. These are the medial surfaces. There are anterolateral surfaces facing forwards and laterally, and a posterior surface facing backwards. This is a posterior surface. So there are three surfaces: the medial surface facing one another in the interarytenoid space, anterolateral surface facing forwards and sidewards, and posterior surface facing backwards. It has got an apex. The apex is attached to the epiglottis, lateral margin of epiglottis, by a fold of mucous membrane. I already told that it's called the aryepiglottic fold of mucous membrane, within which the next two cartilages will be present, that is corniculate and cuneiform, wedge-shaped cartilage. Corniculate and cuneiform cartilage will be present. The base is sitting on the base of the arytenoid is sitting on the cricoid cartilage to form the cricoarytenoid joint. It has got a process directed forward called the vocal process, which gives attachment to the vocal ligament. It has got a process directed sidewards or laterally called the muscular process, gains attachment to the muscles of the larynx. Surfaces medial, anterolateral and posterior surfaces. Most of the surfaces are free. Maybe some muscle fibers are attached to the anterolateral surfaces. Few muscle fibers, that's all. A quadrangular membrane, also called quadrate membrane, which begins from the epiglottis, inner surface of epiglottis, gains attachment to the, this is the epiglottis and this is the arytenoid. There is a membrane called as quadrangular membrane or quadrate membrane. It gains attachment to the arytenoid cartilage as well, in addition to the thyroid cartilage. Moving on to the next two tiny cartilages without wasting much time, that is corniculate and cuneiform. The corniculate is actually roughly conical in shape. This corniculate cartilage, cylindrical to conical in shape. It's like a horn, that's why it's called corniculate. It is situated within a fold of mucous membrane called as aryepiglottic fold. So it lies close to the apex of this corniculate, lies close to the apex of arytenoid cartilage. Next, moving on to cuneiform cartilage, it is roughly like a rod or a wedge-shaped cartilage. This is roughly like a rod or a wedge-shaped cartilage. This cartilage is present next to the corniculate cartilage. This cuneiform cartilage will be present. This is also present within the fold of mucous membrane called as aryepiglottic fold. Now, what is this aryepiglottic fold and why is it important? This aryepiglottic fold, during the act of swallowing or deglutition, the tongue falls backwards, the entire larynx moves upwards. You can see that if you swallow and see your throat in the mirror, you will know that the entire throat is going upwards. In addition, the aryepiglottic folds of either side will approximate towards one another to close the laryngeal inlet. So during that time, the aryepiglottic fold is weak, it's not stiff or strong. So nature provides these two cartilages, that is the corniculate and cuneiform, so that when both these folds are approximating towards, this is the epiglottis, this is the arytenoids, this is the aryepiglottic folds. When they are approximating towards one another, when they are coming close to one another, there should be some strength in this aryepiglottic fold, right? That strength is provided by these two cartilages. What are they? The corniculate and cuneiform. That is a major function of this cartilage, which is present within the aryepiglottic fold. Based on histology, the cartilages of larynx, almost all the cartilages of larynx are hyaline cartilage. The thyroid cartilage, the cricoid cartilage, the cricoid cartilage, and most of the arytenoid cartilage, these three cartilages actually, they are hyaline cartilage. They give structural framework to the laryngeal skeleton. By the age of 25 years, they start ossification. They become more stronger and strength, or they become more bony. Whereas the cartilages which are helping in movement, that is the epiglottis right here, the apex of arytenoid cartilage, and the corniculate and cuneiform, they are moving, they are in movement. So they should be elastic and they should not get ossified. Therefore, these three cartilages, what are they? The epiglottis, the corniculate and cuneiform, and the apex of arytenoid, which is involved in movement, are elastic cartilages and they don't ossify. Thank you for watching and learning from Logic Medico. If you gain importance from this video, kindly press the thumbs up icon showing that you like the video. Share this video with your other friends too. And if you're new to our channel, kindly consider subscribing to our channel for more such videos. Thank you once again. Have a good day. Bye.